Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Scenic Route Astrology. My name is Makayla, and this is the second time I am recording the new moon in Libra video because it's Mercury retrograde and I should have known better. Really. So the reason why I'm redoing this video is because there was a lot of dinging from the emails coming in. I couldn't shut it off, and I had a lot of communication problems because it's Mercury retrograde and it's happening right around my ascendant. So I'm having a hard time speaking. So I'm going to redo the video. I'm going to go nice and slow, and it's going to be very casual because it's late night on the 5th and I'm tired. So you'll see a different outfit in the photo because it's when I recorded it earlier, and now I'm late night. So yeah, so let's just talk about the new moon in Libra. I think that this is a new moon that is kind of like getting you ready for takeoff. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have all these planets in retrograde motion that will slowly over the next few months start to move direct. And the first one we begin with is Pluto the day after the new moon. So it's a lot of energy going on. The month it might be a little bit, you might have conflict, especially around relationships in your life and any kind. And into November, then we get heavier energy, and then we have eclipses and we have more planets moving direct, and we'll be out of Mercury retrograde the first week in November. So this is a really long Mercury retrograde. And so I just kind of want to describe the current energy and try to help you find out where it's playing for you specifically in your chart. And even if you don't know a lot of astrology, I'm hoping that you'll be able to follow through with the video and apply the things I'm talking about into your life. Here's an email. So sorry if you hear those. It just won't shut off for me today. So if you're following along with your chart, you're going to want to know where the new moon's happening for you. It's happening at 7:04 a.m. East Coast time. So you just do the time difference for if you're in another part of the world. And it's going to be at Piper, come here. Come on. My dog's barking, sorry. It's going to be at 13 degrees and 24 minutes Libra, and it will be opposing Chiron in Aries at 10 degrees, which is retrograde still. So the Libra archetype will bring up definitely relationships and things that are important to us and things we hold a value to, because she's essentially ruled by Taurus and Libra. So she's she relates to our comforts and what we need, our necessities on the Taurus scale, and our values. And then with Libra, the way that we relate to ourselves and also with others. And so there's a balancing act here with the Chiron opposition, where there's like a wounding around the way that we want to express ourselves. And that will also come into conflict with our relationships and our partnerships in life, right? If we feel like we're not validating who we are, or if we feel like we're not heard or understood, that's going to affect how we feel. And then that creates pain, which can stem to like anger and aggression. And the way that we will ourselves, if it's stemming from a low vibrational place, you're going to have a low vibrational outcome. Okay, so we really want to be balancing where we're at vibrationally around this new moon. Okay, and what do we do about that? How do we balance that? So we're going to want to reflect on ourselves around this new moon. Okay, we're going to want to look in the mirror or realize that the relationships and the partnerships and the things that we attract into our life sometimes is a reflection of what we're feeling or what we have internally. So that's a lot of heavy energy. And the new moon happens to be conjunct Mars in Libra. So, the way that we assert ourselves or take action, okay, Mars, is going to be, in the sign of partnership and relationships. So, things might set us off. And we have to know how to deal with those kind of situations, right? Or how it just again reflects where we're at and why this conflict is coming into our life anyway. Maybe you're not the one aggressing, but maybe somebody's aggressing on you as well. It's like it's a time right now with all these retrograde planets for us to take responsibility essentially over ourselves. So we'll begin with Mercury retrograde. So Mercury in Libra, it's asking us to collect information, collect data, have conversations with people, and then rethink it and look at it ourselves and see if we want to integrate that into our life or not. And I think a tool to use during this Mercury retrograde is to be able to just know that you can agree to disagree with people. You don't have to see eye and eye with everybody in the world. Like it's actually impossible. So, but knowing that somebody else is in a different place, right, in their evolutionary path here on Earth School, they're on a different path than you, and so we just learn to communicate and realize that some people haven't learned certain life lessons or techniques or whatever. And you might have, and we can teach each other and we can reflect with each other, but it really takes an ability to be polite and diplomatic and be able to negotiate. These are really good Libra skills to incorporate instead of taking action and being aggressive and getting angry and going to that kind of Mars. We can use this Mars in a more diplomatic way. We can use it for our benefit no matter what. Where like literally I think you can always find a compromise where both sides win. Like, so I'm also a Libra rising, so I will try at this all the time. But sometimes it's good to understand that the Libra archetype is through extremes, and you often won't learn balance unless you have both polarity points. Like you see both sides to the coin, okay? And that is a good thing. But if you go too far, then over one extreme, then that could also be toxic. So we've been looking to Venus and Scorpio because Venus is the ruler of Libra, and Venus and Scorpio has been playing around in what I've been calling quicksand energy, because it's really like depth of water. But she was squaring Uranus and Taurus, so I was getting opposing Uranus and Taurus, so I was getting the sand and the dirt from earthy Taurus and the mucky deep water of Scorpio that it can be sometimes, and together it's like the middle point is like quicksand energy. If you fight too much, you sink really quick, right? Like the quicksand will take you under really, really quick. So you don't want to like completely light your relationships up on fire like Venus and Scorpio might want to do. You want to kind of move more slow in that sand to get through that situation in your relationships right now. I'm still having a hard time with Mercury retrograde, guys, today, but we're gonna make this video work. So there's so much going on in the energy. So then we have Jupiter and Saturn retrograde, okay? And Jupiter is forming a trine to Mercury. So it's supporting the, reevaluation and the looking over of all these different perspectives that you're getting through your relationships with one another, the conversations you're having with one another. And you're able to take your own experiences with Jupiter retrograde and your own objective views as well, and create your own truths at this time. So where has Jupiter been playing in Aquarius in your chart? You know, that will help you bring up some themes around these new objectives or these new truths that you might be trying to establish for yourself. Like, oh, I align with that belief, but maybe not that one. And you're going to form that while you're in a retrograde with it, right? You're going to form that, but you're also going to be taking that information from your own experiences and your own observations of other people. That helps form those opinions, right? And then we go to Saturn, because Jupiter's retrograde. Saturn's also retrograde in Aquarius. And Saturn is the boundary layer of our consciousness. It's all the personal planets inside. It's holding our belief systems. And here is Saturn, the boundary. Okay, that's what Saturn, the planet, represents. The boundary of our structures, of what we've worked hard for over long periods of time, right? It's retrograde, so we're rethinking those things as well, right? We're kind of seeing some tower moments go on in some of our lives, in some areas of our lives where those things are crumbling down, they're falling apart, because we go to Uranus. Uranus is also retrograde in Taurus, and it's like, well, what is about your values, right, that needs restructuring? Like, what is importance to you right now and like needs restructuring in your life to, you know, to make harmony, to make peace, to get you where you want to be just at peace within yourself and have the life that you want and all these other things, right? Because we're uncomfortable, so all these things are happening in our lives and we're uncomfortable, and you know, we start to, something within us starts to shift. It's an energy, right? It starts to shift. What we feel internally is a reflection of outside of ourselves, you know, and it all comes from a desire nature. The desire to have a new job, or the desire to have a new relationship, or the desire to get a dog, or the desire to move across country. Whatever's going on internally then reflects out into our outer reality, which is also Saturn, the literal body of our reality, of what we're feeling internally. So then we'll go to Neptune. This is in evolutionary astrology, by the way. It is like the rules that when these planets are retrograde, you go to the next one to figure out kind of what to do. What's the storyline of this soul growth right now, of what we're being asked to do. So Neptune's retrograde, and Neptune is, you know, our belief, well, our spiritual beliefs, okay, like our oneness with universe, our higher power, or what we believe to be a higher power, what gives us meaning and creative purpose in life, you know, and it's retrograde. So we're not getting meaning from anywhere else outside of ourselves. Like, where do we get it from within? Like, what gives us a reason to like wake up in the morning and do something? You know, where is that coming from? And that is also under like a retrograde. Yes, it is a retrograde. You know what I mean? It's under I don't know why I quoted it, but it's asking us to look with that, you know, look internally with that. And then we have Pluto retrograde. And Pluto retrograde is like, okay, let's evolve, let's transmute the soul on some alchemical level inside of us, or like in the physical realm too. We will go through bodily changes, emotional changes, mental changes, and it's this alchemical process that's going within yourself that is literally transmuting the soul so that your higher being will reach to another level in this lifetime, in this human experience. So that's what's going on with this retrograde. So when Pluto moves direct, it's not going to be like it sometimes, it's not always cataclysmic, like Jeffrey Wolfgreen will say in his Pluto books, right? There's two types of a Pluto hit, really. It's cataclysmic right away. Instant, you know, like when my engagement ended, that was like that kind of event. And then there's the change that is a slow evolutionary growth that happens like over long periods of time as well, like therapy. can be like that. So we're all under all this retrograde action right now, and it's in the sun and the moon is in the sign of Libra. And it's like how we relate to one another. And I can't help but think like how important that is right now for everybody. And this mirror, this mirror that we should be holding up to each other and to ourselves, and looking at yourself and just being like, I accept you for who you are. I love you. I encourage you to be better all the time. I forgive where you've been, what you've done. Have these like just really compassionate words for yourself and for others. But first, start with yourself, because whatever you're feeling on the inside is just how you're going to treat people on the outside anyway. So it's really a good time for planting the seeds for relationships, like first within yourself. It's meeting the Aries, the Chiron Aries, but then also for others as well. And Jeffrey Wolfgreen does talk about all the planets incorporating their polarity point, which I agree with, to find that balance. And the zodiac is a wheel for a reason, right? Because it's always everything all at once, and we're in the center. It's always all of the energies balancing, acting, playing, dancing all around each other all at once. And so, we meet at the middle with everything. So that is my Libra New Moon feedback for you guys. I mean, there is tons of transits in there that I can touch on. Like the Jupiter trine to Mercury retrograde. Yeah, I think that whatever you're negotiating through or talking about in your relationship dynamics or partnerships or anything like that in your life, Jupiter retrograde is also supporting that information that you're taking in and you're processing and you're thinking about and ruminating over and thinking objectively over. It's going to help you. It's going to help you formulate your own belief systems for yourself, and then we're going to have Venus move into Sagittarius, and she is going to fall into the South Node. And it might be a time to say goodbye to something. Wherever Sagittarius falls in your chart, that will help you specifically see an area of your life. But, Sagittarius, it can be a belief that you've been holding on to for too long. It could be a truth that is no longer a truth, okay, because you got a new perspective. It could be a philosophy that you used to align with and don't anymore. You could have been going on a trip and now you can't go on the trip anymore. It could be a relationship, a partnership. Maybe somebody works for you, somebody who works at your job. Maybe, you fire somebody or somebody quits. It could be a number of things. It just depends specifically for the individual. So I like to give like an overview of the energy with these horoscopes. But I don't like to get too specific because I really would need the individual's chart to see that. And just be easy on yourself over the next few weeks as well. So that is my advice. And I hope to see you guys all again. Please hit like and subscribe. It was really hard, Mercury retrograde. And it is what it is. And I hope everyone gets through Mercury retrograde. I am going to be making some changes. I'm going to be starting a Patreon meetup group. Once or maybe twice. I haven't decided. Depends. But I do want to meet up once a month at least to talk about the lunar cycles and then whatever else people want to talk about astrologically. And you can pull up your chart. As long as you're okay with other people seeing it, we can talk about your chart. We can talk about current transits or whatever astrology discussions we want to bring up. So I love communal things. I love Zoom meetings, and I love all of that. So that's what I'd like to start doing. And especially after the whole IG takedown, I would much rather hold my own. So thank you everybody so much, and I really appreciate your support. Please share this with people who you think would resonate or find value in this. It would help me grow my channel, so please hit like and subscribe, and I will be back again. Thank you.